Ever wondered why every October 31st we dress up in costumes and go door to door asking for candy? It's a tradition that might seem odd, but it's steeped in history and cultural significance. The answer lies in the fascinating history of Halloween. Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Fast Facts. It all began over 2,000 years ago with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts, who lived in what is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and ushered in the dark, cold winter, a time of year often associated with human death. The Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. During this event, the Celts thought the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. To commemorate this event, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and they attempted to tell each other's fortunes. They built sacred bonfires and burned crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. The bonfires and costumes weren't just for show, though. These were protective measures. The Celts believed that the return of the spirits led to trouble and caused damage to their crops. The bonfires and costumes were designed to ward off these spirits and keep the people safe. However, the Celtic tradition of Samhain didn't stay the same forever. As the Romans expanded their empire, they came into contact with the Celts. The Romans had their own festivals of the dead, and when they conquered Celtic lands, they began to combine their own traditions with those of the Celts. The most significant of these was Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. This, along with the celebration of Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees, were incorporated into the Celtic festival of Samhain. This blending of cultures and traditions is what started to form the Halloween we know today. When the Romans conquered the Celts, they incorporated their own celebrations into Samhain, giving us more traditions that we see today. As centuries passed, Halloween morphed and changed, absorbing elements from different cultures and religions. One of the most significant influences on Halloween as we know it today came from Christianity, specifically the observances of All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. These days, celebrated on the 1st and 2nd of November, were dedicated to honoring saints and praying for souls who hadn't yet reached heaven. In the medieval period, there was a tradition known as souling, where people, particularly children and the poor, would go door to door on All Souls' Day, offering prayers for the dead in exchange for small cakes known as soul cakes. This tradition, deeply rooted in the act of sharing and caring for one's community, bears a striking resemblance to the modern practice of trick-or-treating. In Scotland and Ireland, a similar tradition called guising was popular. Children would dress up in costumes and go door to door for food or coins, a practice that likely contributed to the costume-wearing tradition of Halloween today. As the centuries rolled on, Halloween made its way to America, carried over by immigrants from Europe. However, it didn't immediately catch on. In fact, it wasn't until the late 19th century that Halloween began to gain popularity. As it did, it started to shed some of its darker, more superstitious elements. It became less about fear and spirits, and more about community and celebration. In a bid to dissuade mischief and promote a sense of community, town leaders and newspapers encouraged more family-friendly celebrations. Parades and town-wide parties became the norm, and trick-or-treating was revived as a way to bring neighborhoods together. Over time, Halloween evolved from a night of fear and superstition to a night of fun, community, and, of course, candy. From a fearful night of spirits to a community-centered celebration, Halloween has truly transformed. Today, Halloween is a multi-billion-dollar industry, celebrated by millions worldwide. It's a time when creativity comes alive, with elaborate costumes and spooky decorations adorning homes and streets. A sweet aspect of this holiday is the candy, a tradition that brings joy to children and dentists alike. It's a symphony of frightful fun and delightful scares, all wrapped in the spirit of community. From ancient Celtic rituals to pumpkin carving and trick-or-treating, the evolution of Halloween is as fascinating as the holiday itself. So, next time you don your Halloween costume, remember the rich history behind this spooky holiday. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying our content. From its origin as an ancient Celtic festival, through its evolution over the centuries, to the global celebration it is today, And that's the hair-raising tale of Halloween, a holiday that has traversed centuries and cultures to bring us the fun-filled Fright Night we know today.